Please welcome to the stage Manos Raptopoulos and Tomas Feaster.
Good morning, Madrid. It felt a little bit like wanting to do a little bit of headbanging. It's been a while since I've done that, right?
Yeah, I think we got the WalkMe party back here today. A lot of energy, you know?
A lot of energy indeed. And good morning, Madrid. This is your keynote. This is our customer keynote. Thank you very much for making the time to come here. It's been great conversations that we've had throughout these couple of days, and hopefully this will continue also today. I think reflecting a little bit back, Thomas, on those conversations, we hear from our customers that it is a world that disruption continues to be somehow the new normal, right? There is a lot happening out there. There is something happening at one part of the world, and the ripple effect is coming closer to our customers, disrupting sometimes their supply chains, having new trade regulations being introduced. But at the end of the day, it's about us coming together and trying to turn those threats, those challenges, into thriving opportunities. Isn't that right, Thomas?
No, right, Manos. And there's a lot of opportunities. If you think about it, right? Today, you don't just run a business anymore. No, today, you really need to differentiate, not only with the best products, services, or best business models. Today, it's really about taking the technology as an opportunity to differentiate. And see, customers mastering AI with adoption and scaling, they are really at the center. Look at Siemens Healthineers. They were with us on stage last year. We talked about the integrated Joule saying no. Now, in this 1 year, we defined with them use cases for AI, for finance. We built value stories with them, proof of technology. And now we are adopting and we are scaling AI going forward. And secondly, what we also do with them, while they're modernizing their systems, while they're also carving out systems, we're talking about company memory as we speak. Take Danfoss, Danish company. They go all in on AI and BDC. We are building value cases with them as we speak. It's all about value. It's about customer experience, employee experience, growth, and efficiency.
Absolutely. And you mentioned value. At the end of the day, value always matters. And what was part of the conversations as well, as we had a pretty full keynote yesterday with lots of announcements and lots of technology. Our customers appreciated a lot what they saw with regards to the technology, but they always repeat the same. It's about outcomes. It's about how you can translate this in a simple way and make it part of the day-to-day business. And technology is not becoming any more simpler, right? It somehow becomes more complex, and it is on us in order to make sure that this is delivered to you in the most seamless way. Thomas and I and our great teams across the world are trying to do exactly that. Meet you where you are and bring you the value directly relevant to your business process execution day to day. And it's very important to say also, Thomas, that we have the privilege of delivering this with one of the most thriving ecosystems that there is in the world. So a big thank you and a big call out to our partners for being part of this journey. And again, bringing it back home a little bit, right? We are in Madrid. This city is not just a backdrop of what is happening around, but it's actually a customer. It's a customer that is using the city of Madrid, is using SAP, and together with our partner Inetum, they have developed AI applications in order to make sure that every dollar, every euro of spend is accounted for in the city council. And there is more coming, Joule-powered assistants that are going to be helping citizens make sure that they get the best service with the city council. And as we were evolving a lot, there was a lot of information yesterday during the keynote from Christian, Sebastian, and Philip, right, Thomas?
Yes, right. I look, the autonomous enterprise is the vision and is the North Star. It's the destination on the agentic transformation for our customers, for you. So we brought together Rise and Grow with a flywheel, connecting agents, data, the business suite application towards a domain-based assistance of autonomous finance, spend, supply chain, HSM, and CX, and all each defined with their own KPIs. And this is fundamentally changing how business processes are executed, Manos, right? Not humans coordinate systems anymore, but systems coordinate systems. Take source to pay. Agents, they will open purchase orders. They will reconcile invoices, Manos, and they even auto-communicate with vendors. Now humans, they are going to focus on sourcing strategies, on vendor selection, and on negotiations. But Manos, this requires reliable agents, right?
Absolutely, Thomas. And by the way, if I can reflect a little bit on some very meaningful conversations that we had with customers with regards to how SAP is approaching this blueprint of the autonomous enterprise and infusing agents into daily work. The topic of governance was a very significant one, and one that was coming into the conversation. We introduced the concept of verified agents. If you are going to deploy agents in a complex end-to-end industry-related process, you would need observability, understanding what actually this agent is doing. You would need traceability, making sure that everything that you do is traced back if you need that. And you heard yesterday that we are developing those agents using ISO certification, and very importantly, those agents are SOX compliant. You may have the best technology, but maybe your auditor will not allow you to use those agents if they are touching the financial data of your systems. This is a very important discussion that many customers, I think, resonated with. And constant measurability is another element. We talked about value just before. Measurability of what is the outcome the agent is generating and transparency is something that came up in the conversations as very, very important. And most importantly, human in the loop. It's very, very fundamental that we establish the trust that the agents are doing the right thing, and you are in the driver's seat to decide when the agent is going to do the work completely autonomously. And talking about that, Thomas, how many agents are we launching this year?
But I think the number is changing daily, so it's difficult to catch up, right? I mean, we have 51 assistants. I think we talked about 224 agents yesterday. I know that Philip and Jonathan, they're really accelerating on this, so probably it's 225 by today. And most importantly, we provide agent extensibility to our customers. They can take the SAP shipped agents and they can really extend them to their individual needs. And then we heard about the Business AI platform. We're bringing together the BTP, the Business Technology Platform, Business Data Cloud with Joule Studio. I will talk about this in a second, and the AI foundation layer. And with that, you build your agentic layer across SAP and non-SAP data. And not only build, Manos, also govern. With the LeanIX Agent Hub in the BAIP, we are providing our customers a governance layer across SAP and non-SAP agents. And not only that, I mean, we are a technology provider, but we are also here to help you on the transformation. And we heard about this yesterday. We heard about reshaping the services and support portfolio, where we really double down now to make our service portfolio cloud ready. So with a Max Success Plan, Christian said it yesterday, we set live 3 assistants for you. With the Advanced Success Plan, there's unlimited activation of all embedded AI cases you have today in your SAP solutions available. And most importantly, and we talk about this today also with the customers on stage, we are going to partner together with our partners and ecosystem in a forward deployed engineering approach to build industry AI. Talking about partners.
Yeah, we're ever expanding when it comes to partners. We're not doing it alone. We already mentioned that our ecosystem is here in order to help you drive more meaningful outcomes. We had many great partnership announcements also during yesterday. Very importantly, you heard about the €100 million fund that we are putting in place in order to make sure that our partner ecosystem is developing with Joule Studio agents and assistants that are going to be delivered to make your businesses run better. More on that, we have announced on the data layer foundation. The data fabric is a very important part of our strategy. The AWS partnership, so that we can seamlessly integrate with AWS environments. And we also announced that Anthropic Claude is joining the Business AI Platform in order to be able to deliver also with Anthropic those agents, develop those agents with their own models. And also, you have heard our intention to acquire 2 very important technologies, Dremio, which is an Iceberg native lakehouse that extends the reach of Business Data Cloud outside of SAP datasets, and the intention to acquire Prior Labs, which is pioneering in the field of tabular AI for non-SAP data. Also, we are moving faster and forward when it comes to making sure that we shorten time to value. A feedback that we have heard from you time and time again. How can we use agentic technology in order to make faster data migrations? You have heard about the Accenture and Palantir partnership, that they are teaming up together in order to accelerate data migrations. And we have more on Joule Studio, right, Thomas?
Yeah, no, absolutely, Manos. And I mean, being a developer by heart, of course, Joule Studio is very close to what I also would like to see, really to be embedded and involved in all of our customers, to going to build your own agents. And it's so easy. I mean, we saw it yesterday on stage with Deloitte in Orlando. In 2 days, we had customers and partners building 1,640 agents at the show floor. Building a new Joule skill takes minutes. Building an agent takes minutes. Taking it in, connecting it together as a workflow takes minutes. So in less than an hour, you have really an agent where you can derive value already in your SAP estate. And that's really so great, right? And this is really, Manos, where I believe the autonomous enterprise is reachable for all our businesses in this room.
Absolutely. And when we say all businesses, we literally mean every business. I would like to extend a big thank you to all our mid-market and corporate customers, because it's not only about the large enterprises, about every enterprise. And everything we do with Rise, with Grow, and across our technology is immediately delivered to all customers across the world. And we have the privilege and the joy to have thousands of them joining the SAP family. Maybe some of you recognize yourselves up in this slide, but there is so much more coming in literally every month and every quarter. So, grateful to all our customers. And Thomas?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the customer keynote. I think, and you and I, we spent some time already on stage. Let's really get customers out there. I think customers want to listen to customers. We want to listen to their stories about adoption and scaling. With that, Manos, over to you. Have fun on stage. I will be back.
Thank you, Thomas. And again, we spoke about customers, and I would like at this point to call up on stage a customer that has been very significant in our journey together. They have done great things, and it's a company that everybody recognizes. I would like to welcome on stage Ezra Kochertuk-Norrell, Vice President for Customer Experience, Enterprise IT for Ericsson. Ezra, welcome to Madrid. Thank you very much for being with us today. And I would like to start, firstly, you heard Thomas and I speaking about the vision, and I know for a fact that you had a great vision when it comes to IT and what we did together. But before that, maybe one step back. Ericsson is a company which is synonymous to technology. Right from the onset, you are a company that is driving for technology, for innovation. Tell us a little bit about that history and how AI is weaving into that fabric.
Thank you, Manos. First of all, I would like to say that it's great to be here in Madrid at Sapphire and having this conversation with you all together. And for us, it's also a very special year. Ericsson turns 150. For a century and a half, we have been in the business building the critical connectivity that the societies and the businesses has been running on. And this is from the very earliest telephony to today's global mobile networks. So Ericsson's purpose is to create connections that make the unimaginable possible. And our vision is a world where limitless connectivity improves lives, redefines business, and pioneers a sustainable future. Ericsson's strategy is clear. We want to lead the telecom industry by building the world's most advanced mobile networks, which are powered by and optimized for AI. And in practice, this means three things. First, technology leadership in radio, core, transport, and cloud software. Second, extending beyond our traditional operator segments into enterprises and mission-critical networks. And third, this is turning this network into a global platform so we can expose these advanced network capabilities through network APIs to partners and developers so they can innovate on top of the network itself. And AI is right at the center of all of this. And we see that AI, cloud, and advanced mobile networks, they are all coming together right now, and this is powering the next wave of digitalization. And as Ericsson, we are embedding AI into how the networks are designed and how they are operated and how we run Ericsson day to day today. So when we talk about strategy today, AI is fundamental both for our technology roadmap as well as how we run the business.
Thank you, Ezra. And while you are a deeply technological company, I know that your journey had a business vision. You started with a business vision and not so much the technology itself. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey?
Definitely. What made this work for us comes to, I will say, summarize in maybe 3 points. The first one is we've been very deliberate for taking a problem-centric approach to AI, not tool-centric approach. So we always start with the real business pain points, clear measurable outcomes, and only then apply AI where it makes a meaningful difference. Second, we focus on how we scale instead of isolated pilots. We prioritize the use cases based on impact and feasibility for implementation. And more importantly, we organize them, we group them under the prioritized domains and end-to-end journeys. And this is what moves AI from experimentation to transformation. And in our case, we have reached to 85,000 active live users on Unified Joule today. But remember also that this will only work with a very strong executive sponsorship and a clear governance around it. Otherwise, AI will stay in pilots and will never scale. And third, I think this is the most important one, very critical one. It's about data. We've been investing in our data strategy quite early in the journey. Because when you start scaling AI, it stops becoming an AI problem. It becomes a data problem. So our answer to that has been the business data fabric. So data stays where it belongs, workflows run where they fit best. But what matters most is the knowledge core here, which is powered by SAP Business Data Cloud. So this is where we define what data means for Ericsson, like what revenues represents, how markets roll up, who can access what under which rules. And on top of this, we've been building reusable, governed data products, which are consumable across AI, analytics, and applications. So with these three, this is how we have been scaling AI in a trusted, in a repeatable way, which brings compounding business value.
That's a great array of points. You started with a problem-centric approach. You talked about scale, 85,000 users on Unified Joule. This is really remarkable. You spoke about the data foundation and about the classification of the cases, so which is feasible, which is bringing value. So amazing approach in terms of bringing this all into life together. Now, what is keeping you busy these days? What are the next steps? I'm sure there are some. And what can we do more together with SAP and Ericsson?
We're now moved from planning into proven execution, and it's a very defining and exciting shift for us. So we're operating on two fronts in parallel. The first one is, I will call modernization. This is where we are transitioning to RISE with SAP, building side-by-side extension on the SAP Business Technology Platform, maintaining a clean core so that we can innovate faster without disrupting our foundation, the ERP backbone. The second one is, I will call innovate and transform. This is where we are really focusing on unlocking the business values through data and AI, going beyond experimentation into scalable use cases for improving operational efficiency and decision making. At the same time, we are investing in co-innovation, meaning that we are solving real business challenges with our partners. It's in the ways that they are reusable and scalable and brings a broader value across the industry beyond the Ericsson need. One good example is the work we have been doing with SAP together in the human capital management, where we have been developing intelligence goal recommendation capability with Joule. And this capability helps the employees to create goals that are aligned with Ericsson's strategy, at the same time reduces the manual effort significantly. And of course, we are also in the second wave of engagement with SAP today and currently focusing on talent growth, mobility, and employee development. So because the real opportunity is not just digitizing the current processes, it's about creating entirely new ways of working through AI, data, and platforms. And for us, the real journey is about modernizing our foundation, unlocking the value of data and AI, and we build the capacity, so that we can continuously innovate at a scale.
Amazing, Ezra. Thank you very much. We are really grateful that you are considering us one of your trusted partners and looking forward to expand more. Ericsson is an amazing company, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Manos.
Ezra's testimony is a great example of what is already possible, and you have seen the scale and the meticulousness in which they are working together with us in order to make sure that they bring AI at scale across their whole operation. And you heard also yesterday how critical precision is for business. Christian was speaking about the unicorn, and that 80% is not good enough for your business. Large language models are notoriously good in certain things, especially in synthesizing information across domains, but they are also notoriously not so good when it comes to solving certain types of quantitative problems. And I would like to ask anyone in the audience if you've ever tried to do a thing as simple as a word count, something that has been existing for a while, as far as I can remember, at least in most word processors. Have you ever done it? Have you noticed that the accuracy of counting words in a document is about 90%? And 90% is probably good enough in order to do a speech write-up, but it's probably not good at all when it comes to reporting your financial results. This is where we come in. This is where SAP comes in with a multitude of different technologies, including hybrid AI and including own developed models, in order to bridge that gap between 90% to 100%, which is the precision that you need to your business. And probabilistic AI uses a very, very robust data foundations, and we are here in order to also provide you this. Now, in terms of giving you a concrete example about how this technology is actually performing against other available technologies across the board, I'll give you an internal example. I hope it is okay to share with this audience. One of the choices that you have is whether to use Joule Studio for developing anything or using any of the available LLMs that are out there. And we did exactly that. We wanted to develop internally an agent, and our teams vibe code that agent to one of the leading providers of that generate code. We took that code after 10, 15 minutes, and we did exactly the same prompt, exactly the same intent. We put it into Joule Studio. And we took the code, and we asked that same LLM to make a comparison of the two pieces of code and rank it against specific criteria. And it ranked its own generated code with 2 out of 10, and the SAP Joule generated code with 9 out of 10. 2 out of 10, 9 out of 10. And you would ask, is it intelligence or is it something else? And we're here to tell you that it's not only about raw intelligence, it's about context. Intelligence without context can produce strange results. In our case, the difference was that Joule Studio was connected to the SAP Knowledge Graph, which is the map that you can navigate inside SAP business objects and have actual context about what you're looking for. It was connected to Signavio, which is the digital twin of the business processes inside your business. And it was connected to LeanIX, which is the architecture, basically, across SAP and across different systems in your corporation. So Joule Studio is engineered in order to generate the right code. That's what gives 9 out of 10. And as everything that we do, at the heart and the center of it, there is always innovation. We've heard from Ezra how successful companies like Ericsson utilize our technology, and it's time to call on stage another great company. I would like to welcome the COO of EssilorLuxottica, Davide Schinetti. Welcome to Madrid. Thank you very much. I'm highly appreciative that you had the opportunity, we have the opportunity to be here on stage together and that you made the time to come here. EssilorLuxottica may not be a household name, but a lot of our customers and partners in the audience probably use your products. Can you give us a little bit more about the scale of your operations and what you're doing?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. So EssilorLuxottica is a global leader on design, manufacture, distribution of advanced eye care solutions, eyewear, and also medical technologies and services. The group is home to very iconic brands and advanced lens technology like Varilux, Crizal, Transition, Stellest, super important. Iconic brands, Ray-Ban, Oakley, but even the most desirable luxury license brands that we are managing, and also producing Ray-Ban Meta glasses, Oakley Meta Vanguard, and all the world-class retailers that you may know and go shopping to, Sunglass Hut, LensCrafters, Vision Experts, and Apollo.
Very good. And recently, we met in your offices, actually your plant in Agordo, a very impressive plant, and we had a great walkthrough. And there were some ideas that sprung out of that discussion. Can you tell us a little bit more about what we're working on at the moment?
Sure. So we had together a discussion there on the shop floor talking about retail, and we decided to have a couple of use cases to work together. The use cases are now in beta phase. The first one is about using wearable technologies to support the field technician and field operation with intelligent guidance and documentation together. And the second is a retail use case, using EssilorLuxottica wearable technology to enable store operation to experience a better, smoothless operation in the stores. But instead of talking, why don't we experience it, Manos? What do you think?
All right, let me get the glasses. Thank you very much, Dennis. So, what am I looking at now?
Yes, super face.
Is it nice? So these are your Ray-Ban glasses. You have the same pair.
Yes,
I see.
True.
All right. So these glasses have onboard cameras, integrated cameras. They have speakers and microphone. And you have a new version as well that is having a display as well coming out, right?
True. Yeah. So quite a lot of panel of options.
Brilliant. Okay. World is already
and you have
better
your prescription on top of it, right?
But Davide, why don't we do a little bit of a show and tell together?
Yes, let's go.
Let me try if I can, I can simulate a store operation person, and you can be the customer.
An exigent customer.
Let's see if I can sell you something.
Let's see.
Good morning, Davide. How can I help you?
Good morning to you. So I'm here because last year I bought a couple of pairs of parcels. One I gave it to my son, and my son lost it. So if it's available, may you find it in my orders and ship to him?
Absolutely, Davide. Can I please scan your QR code so that I can have access to your customer profile?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Joule, can you please recall the order that was made from this customer profile for 2 Persol sunglasses?
This is Davide Schinetti. He bought 2 pairs of Persol sunglasses in July 2024. He took 1 pair from the store. The other was shipped to Milan.
We found your order, Davide. And do you want us to send those sunglasses directly to your home address in Milan?
Yes, please. It will be perfect.
Hey, Joule, please order the same Persol sunglasses and send them in the stored address in Milan.
I created a new order for Persol 649 Original and will use the shipping address on record. By the way, Davide's order history suggests he likes running. Would he be interested in the new Oakley sunglasses?
Upsell opportunity. Okay, Davide, everything is prepared for checkout. Anything else I can help you with?
First of all, thank you, but I have a question. How is it possible that you talk with your friend?
Oh, this is the new AI sunglasses from EssilorLuxottica. And as Essilor is an SAP customer, we have the power of Joule embedded in those sunglasses. Therefore, whatever I speak about to the glasses connects to our backend system and gives me the information right out of SAP.
That's amazing. That's super technology.
It even told me that you are interested into sports and you would you like something, because we have some series that are for sports and runners and cyclists.
That's interesting too, so thank you. Well, what can you offer to me?
Right, it's very convenient because I happen to have something here for you. How about these Oakley Vanguard sunglasses?
Well, I think that I have to compliment with the designer about it.
Let me quickly check availability for you, Davide. Hey, Joule, can you check availability for those sunglasses?
This is the Oakley Meta Vanguard. We have all available color options in store on shelf D-01. Check your phone for details.
All right, so good news. We have it also in store. You can pick up your own color.
I picked this color. By the way, it looks like the name written here is Sapphire. Is it a coincidence?
Fantastic coincidence. All right, let me just check if we have availability. Hey, Joule, take a picture of the sunglasses, see if we have them in store, and ship them into Davide Schinetti's address.
Glasses identified as Oakley Meta Vanguard Prism Sapphire, white. I adjusted the order for you to control at checkout.
Brilliant. So, Davide, everything is in place, and we can check out.
Super, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Davide.
You have a work for us.
So, I appreciate that what you see seemed a little bit seamless, but believe me, there is a lot of technology involved on the back end. First, we have the Joule-powered that we explained. There is AI to AI speech integration. There is back-end integration with SAP, store availability, inventory availability, and we are working in order to make that use case even more tangible and even more robust for use at everyday stores. And Davide, the most important thing I believe is that this use case was developed jointly by the amazing team of EssilorLuxottica and SAP in just 2 weeks. Is that right?
It's true, it's true. We did an amazing job. Your team has been very supportive and I'm very proud of it.
Thank you very much, Davide. Thank you for the trust. And there is more that we are working on. Maybe you can give us a little glimpse.
For sure, we will continue cooperating with SAP. SAP is a strategic partner for us, and for sure, these use cases we will continue working on. For sure, also our supply chain that is working under SAP environment, it's a very complex one with about 602 sites all around the world and 119 distribution centers, and we will continue to develop together the solution. But for sure, the real focus now is let's finish the use case and let's rock it and maybe commercializing this year. Why not?
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. Davide, thank you very much for being on stage. We're really looking forward to expand further our partnership. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I take a picture.
We've heard two very different companies with very different use cases, and there is more. So at this point, I would like to hand it over back to Thomas for even more unique value journeys. Thomas?
I mean, what an amazing demonstration. I mean, fun fact, Manos met with me and Jan Gilk, which runs Business Suite globally, a couple of months ago, actually at a bar. And he had these classes, and you can imagine, we three sitting together, 1.5 hours, we were playing around, we spoke, because it translates, so we were speaking in German, Jan and I, and Manos was listen to it. So I think technology now, and this is also where we think about in SAP, really taking technology as an innovation to really improve your business, and to an extent also people's life. Talking about those classes again, I mean, I just talked to Davide, I said, look, next time I'm going to run, I'm going to wear these glasses, and you can take pictures where you are. And now imagine you're also connected back to your SAP system if you wear those glasses in your production, and you can take pictures immediately, for instance, from any disruptions, and it can immediately go into your SAP system, trigger workflows. Now, again, Luxottica is already 5 steps ahead on their transformation into the cloud, into the agentic enterprise. Many of our customers are still working on that path, on ECC, moving to RISE, looking at the North Star, the autonomous enterprise. And you heard talking to me about the agentic transformation when we started. And here, it's really all about helping you to move faster into the autonomous enterprise. What we have done is, you heard Christian talking about, because it's a multi-year journey, and we understand that, and we understand you cannot wait to innovate. This is why we launched the ECC connector, that when are you on your RISE journey, you can start getting innovation already in your current installations of ECC. And on top of that, with the RISE with SAP methodology, we are helping you to drive clean core, and that's part of RISE with AI. And here, when we talk about clean core, we always focus about the extensibility, reducing your technical depth. Now, in the era of AI, clean core means process standardization, process simplification, Clean core really means also to look at your data layer and ensure that your data is really harmonized. You heard me talking about Siemens Healthineers at the beginning. When we did our first proof of concept with them, with AI, there was a lot of hallucination. And we realized there was one data set missing, actually, where the ALM could have access to. And the entire outcome was wrong. So data as part of your journey into autonomous enterprise is really a fundament we need to look at. And here, really, we want to get you future-proof, upgrade-ready, and AI-ready. And for that, we launched 7 migration and modernization assistants to support your clean core journey. And you heard yesterday to reduce your time for transformation, for migration, by 50%. And the last day, when I was talking to many of you in roundtables, in our conversations, there were 2 things you shared with me and you shared with your SAP representatives in the room. It was about the value and the technology. Looking at the value, you were talking about the pressure you have to bring innovation faster into your operations. And this is where those 7 assistants will help you. Now, because your time and your investment are important to us. And who better than talk about those assistants than the mastermind itself? So please welcome Søren Rode, our Chief Product Owner for ALM, on stage.
So, Thomas just announced our SAP's migration and modernization assistance to help you reduce the cost and the complexity of your transformations leveraging agentic AI. And it all starts in the engagement layer with SAP Joule and Joule for Consultant. Not only as a conversational UI, but to really let your agents start working from here. So, what is the first thing that we need in order to have a proper scoping and to have powerful agents? So, correct. It's data. So that's why our assistants are context and landscape aware. We take into account all the publicly available information, our consultants' knowledge, our internal documentation, and the customer context. This is really important to get a successful transformation done. So let me now tell Joule what we want to do. In our demo here, we want to now migrate an ECC system into the private cloud. Once I told Joule what I want to do, Joule understands which system I actually want to migrate. So I can confirm the system, I get some high-level information, but that's actually not good enough. I want to get deeper here. So I start the analysis now for the specific system that has been selected. I get the proposal on which data types should be included. We go further. We can also look into the different functional packages that we want to take into scope. And last but not least, we can also select different company codes because we might want to exclude some of them. So once I have done that, the system analysis assistant is going first. It scans every module in terms of data, in terms of customizing, and in terms of custom code. So what has been weeks of preparation activities before can now be done over the weekend. So let us go further and check here in Cloud ALM where all the different assistants are coming together, where we are actually at in our project at the moment. So we can see what already has been done. We see the important tasks that need to be done next. We see also some risks that we need to take care of as a project manager. But in this demo here, we really want to show now what the system analysis assistant is doing and how it is feeding actually all the other assistants that are building up on that. So we have a data management assistant that is identifying inconsistencies, that is doing a proper root cause analysis, that is giving a solution proposal, and is actually correcting the data within weeks instead of a months-long preparation project as it has been before. The custom code assistant is working together with Joule for Developer to adapt your custom code to make it executable on S4 within days instead of weeks. We have the configuration assistant that is leveraging not only best practices, but your specific scoping information so we can pre-configure an S4HANA system for you instantly. The test management assistant is taking Signavio process information and our enterprise knowledge graph to create test cases within minutes instead of hours. And the rollout assistant is actually planning the path across the finish line for every region, for every plant. So it will help you parallelize your rollout and get it done in months instead of years. And last but not least, our project management assistant is the intelligence layer for people that are actually running the project. It guides you through the relevant tasks at the right time, and it identifies risks before they become issues. So the system becomes the single source of truth for real project progress. And this overall is orchestrated intelligence. This is not only 7 assistants running independently. So let this swarm of AI assistants take over the manual, redundant, and low outcome tasks so that your experts can focus on what really matters, which is creating value for your business. Over to you, Thomas.
So thank you, Søren. And I think the adoption of Cloud ALM will skyrocket now after this. And look, I mean, having been a project manager myself, I mean, specifically the project management assistant, I found quite powerful because all you know that, right? All these fire drills, the next year code, you need to build all these presentations, you need to show, the progress of the testing. And this assistant really helps you to reduce those times and also with that reduce the cost. And the rollout assistants, you heard me talking about really the move from your entire estate into the cloud, into the autonomous enterprise, will help you to compress the time significantly. So now let me introduce another customer on stage, coming from quite far away here to Madrid, probably has the longest trip to here, and he will talk about that, I guess. So this customer is moving his ECC right now into RISE and also is in the same time innovating a lot with SAP and with our partners. They do this with a clear clean core mandate. They do this with an end-to-end toolchain adoption. They do this by embedding AI to accelerate the valorization, and they're innovating together with SAP. So please welcome Toby Cranwell from Fonterra. So good to have you, Toby. Now let's start with one fact about Fonterra. 86 million kilometers your fleet have done. It's like 200 times going up to the moon, back to the Earth. Now tell us a bit more about your business and what are you transporting on that fleet?
Yeah, look, thanks, Thomas. Great to be here. Look, that gives you sort of some indication of the scale of our business. So, look, Fonterra is a farmer-owned dairy cooperative. We're the largest business in New Zealand. We export great dairy products to over 100 countries around the world, and that requires a pretty large and complex manufacturing and supply chain footprint in order to be able to support that process. So, look, we made the decision to transform our business. And we're going to do that through a move to S4 through RISE with SAP. I think that is a critical decision for us. We want to move away from the legacy ways of working, our customized landscape. We don't see this as just a technology upgrade. We see this as a great opportunity to reset back to standard, simplify how we work, put in place, consistent ways of working across our business. It's a key platform and enabler for us. It's a big part of our strategic ambition. That said, we're still relatively early in the journey. We've got 2 manufacturing sites live now and our US market. We're running old and new in parallel, and that creates its own challenges as well. But, we're an impatient organization, and so the focus now is how do we start to show value? We don't want to wait till the very end of the transformation. So how do we modernize and, deliver value whilst we're going through the transformation?
I mean, you just talked about that you have still a lot of factories and rollouts to go, right? That means what we have just seen, with this assistant, that must be interesting for you, no?
Yeah, look, I think, we made the deliberate choice in moving to RISE, going plant to plant, rolling it out, keeping a clean core. It's been very important for us, putting the extensions and the innovation up on BTP. That principle around clean core, that's been absolutely critical. Heavily supported by the CEO, by the board. I think what that's given us is, a level of flexibility. It stopped us from backsliding, trying to recreate some of those old ways of working in complexity. And it's going to put us in a really great position from a foundation in terms of AI. And we obviously know that, AI is only as good as the foundation that you build it on, Thomas.
Yeah, and look, I'm spending a lot of time with you and your business, and the way you embrace AI, and I think we talk about this in a second, but the way really also you bring everybody in one room, your business, your IT, the process owner, to discuss the value of AI, having SAP with you as well and the partners, it's just great. It's really great. So now how you make sure, Toby, that AI really lands in Fonterra?
So, there was a lot of options. The challenge wasn't a lack of ideas. There were plenty of use cases. What we needed to do was, working with SAP, try and figure out where the real value was. And to be honest, find out what was really ready to deploy. And so working to do that, we were able to, identify three apps. I think we've moved from practical theory into actually delivery, which is great to see. And now we're live with Cash App. We've got a maintenance order recommendation in there, and we've got transportation, conversational planning for transportation management. And what's really great is these are now showing up in the flow of work. So it's actually real. Obviously, we've got to complete the deployment as we go through the year to really scale the benefit from it.
Yeah, and I think let's go quickly back to the process, Toby, because it's really something I want to share with the audience, because I consider this as best in class, we came together in this room. We had a whiteboard. We looked at your business processes as they run today. We looked at how SAP is supporting those business processes, right? And then we looked at the embedded AI cases SAP has already, and we looked where in the different business processes we could bring them in and unlock value. And then beyond that, not only looking at the embedded AI cases, we discussed with your finance business, take the cash application. I remember very much this conversation, right? About the invoice matching, about the hours of training we have with the cash application. And I know that also now we're looking at Rapid 1.5 now to accelerate even this learnings of the application. So really, if there's one thing I really want to share with the audiences, when we talk about AI, when we talk about value, it's an IT discussion, it's a business discussion, and it's a discussion where we really have to look at the processes and at the problem statement. Because once you talk about the problem statement, it's really easier to find the right AI opportunities to unlock the value. Now, talking about this co-building, we went in a forward deployed engineering approach with you, together with our product teams. Maybe you can also share with the audience a bit your experience about that, Toby.
I think it was surprisingly good, Thomas, is what I would say. I'm quite impressed by the traction, the speed, the focus on outcome. Look, it was really good to see all parts of SAP. So we had the product team, we had the services team, we had the industries team, we had my team, but we also had business come together. And where we landed up, in terms of our first cab off the rank, as it were, was around services procurement. So probably not the most glamorous area to start, perhaps, but certainly an area that is highly visible with a number of pain points. There is significant value for us to be able to be addressed. The reality is we get thousands of these services invoices every month. The way that we work today, not really very well set up in terms of the information, the detail we need downstream. So what was the other issue is we just don't have a history of creating service entry sheets. So net new work, getting people to adopt a new way of working is to be honest, is still proving a bit of a challenge. So what was great to see is what we've built and what we co-built with SAP is a really intuitive way of doing it. Effectively just click and drag into Joule. It has a look at the unstructured data. It creates the service entry sheet that we need. It gives you the detail that you want, and then the user can click it. So look, that's exciting. It's a small step forward, but I think what's really important is the pattern. And so what we've demonstrated now is, where there are high volume, high intensity use case areas, that's where we can go. We've proved the theory works. And so we're already looking at other areas, process order, planning, and operations assistant. I think that'll be a big step forward for us. Sales order processing is another big area that we'll be moving into as well. But I think moving away from individual use cases, obviously what's exciting and what Christian was referring to yesterday is the ability to, see how you can actually create a connected, autonomous enterprise as you build these agentic workflows. And that's obviously an exciting future for us all.
No, and I love the vision of Fonterra, Toby, and we share this with you very often. And what I really like about you and your organization is that you see SAP as one of your strategic technology provider, but also as one of your transformation partners. I think that's really what is changing in the world of AI, that we are here to help our customers like you to transform and unlock the value. Now, talking about value, Toby, I mean, AI, building use cases, bringing them into production, I don't say it's an easy step, it's a step to take by getting the users really to embrace it and to scale, adopt and scale. So how do you think about now to get AI embedded in your user adoption journey?
I think the first place for us to start is obviously to truly embed what we've got, get it working consistently, start getting the value. As I said, we're still relatively early in the journey. We've got 22 more manufacturing sites in multiple markets to go. The reality is technology's, at this scale, technology is not actually the challenge. We've demonstrated that we can run New Zealand's largest organization on standard SAP with some custom development up in BTP. The reality is it's a change management challenge now. How do you get users to adopt and embed a new way of working? How do you get that actually showing up day-to-day operationally, which is where the value comes from? And so as I look ahead, I can see tools like WalkMe are going to be really important for us, because the reality is, if we don't embed those new ways of working and scale it, that's ultimately where we're going to get the value from the transformation, and that's what's going to be key at the end.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, it's all about change management once you have your use cases in your systems to get them scaled into your community. And I think WalkMe is a good segue to our next customer as well. Toby, again, big thank you and big thanks for traveling all the way here to Madrid. Enjoy a bit the city. And again, happy to have you back next year. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. So look, every company will invest in AI and is going to deploy agents. And we talked right now about the key challenge and when it comes to the user adoption. And this is where value realization really starts. And really yesterday, that was one of the key discussions we had with you also, how we can help you to scale AI into your organization. And here, of course, there is challenges. And we have one reference from Gartner that 8% of actually employees using AI not in the way they should. And why is this the reason? And here I thought I'd share a little bit, we are customer zero as SAP, my own experience. I mean, many of you and our partners are in the room, you know about Joule for Consultants. Of course, SAP, we developed Joule for Consultants for SAP to serve you as a customer, to reduce your time to value, to bring you better quality results in the implementations. I'm running the consulting business in SAP, and I can tell you when we launched this, in April last year, I had 50 users. 50 consultants, they embraced Joule for Consultants. Great technology. Proven, because of course we engineered it together with Philip and the team, so it worked. 50 users. Then, the next month, 52 users. And I remember Thomas Saueressig asked me, okay, how many users you will have in 2 months? And I said 2,000. It was 500 users. And we're really scratching our heads and we're thinking, why? And then we thought it's really the fact of the challenge of the ineffective use, that users, they go in, they type in a prompt, they don't get the result they would like to have, and they just go back to the traditional way they do it. So the consultants go back to the knowledge sources they know. And then it's limited awareness. You bring it to one consultant, he uses, the other consultants is aware it's there, but doesn't know the outcome. And that applies for all agents, by the way, you would run in your organization. And then the inconsistent adoption as well. So employees and users are still hesitant to use the agents. So change management is critical. And change management is the #1 factor, besides the technology, to really make AI work. And this is where WalkMe comes in. That's what we did. We brought WalkMe in, and we started users building communities and share about their experience with Joule for Consultants. Then we had 1,000 users, we had 20,000 users. Now I have 11,000 consultants using Joule for Consultants. But not only us, all our partners, all our strategic partners, they use Joule for Consultants to really bring value to you in your implementations. And here really WalkMe plays the difference for the adoption. It's a digital adoption platform, but at the same time, it's a change management tool and it helps to drive end user adoption for AI. So talking about this, I want a customer to explain his journey into AI and his journey in adopt and scale. So then please welcome with me Thomas Book, CF Group CIO. So Thomas. Yeah, I realized this now. So Thomas, tell a bit more about your journey, because I think you are 5 steps ahead when it comes to having productive AI. You also identify value cases, and of course adoption is a big topic in ZF as well.
Yeah, maybe let me start a little bit talking about ZF as a company. We are one of the world's leading manufacturer of advanced mobility solutions for both commercial and passenger cars. Alongside that automotive business, we serve markets like marine propulsion, agriculture machinery, wind power, and other industry areas. The company is operated by its 150,000 some more employees in 29 countries, and we have our products built in more than 160 plus plants. That already describes a little bit the complexity we are in. The last 10 to 12 years, the company has grown pretty strong, mainly by some major acquisitions. And integrating those acquisitions now means for us that we have a pretty complex ECC landscape, highly customized, coming from different histories. That slows us down in bringing innovation at scale into the company, and we were looking for the right approach to solve it. Obviously, the solution would be clean core, but that's a hard challenge in that kind of environment, right? So we were looking for how we can get our company ready to scale innovation fast and be ready for AI. And our solution of choice was going with SAP RISE and the BDC. And the BDC already today helps us a lot making our data AI ready. We already migrated all our BW systems to BDC. And with SAP RISE, we made a bet, okay? I think we were pretty clear that this will be the platform where all the innovation is going to happen. And we were expecting over time that we will see much more migration, transformation support coming from AI on the platform. So when I heard Søren and I had the opportunity to talk to him yesterday about the agent-led transformation, that was exactly what we are waiting for, right? Because that will help us, even in our very complex environment, to get much closer to the clean core than we ever thought we could possibly get.
Yeah, and look, that's really the intention of the migration assistance. And I know you still have a long way to go. And what I really like about also your journey is that you in parallel embarked on the Business Data Cloud, right? So looking at your ECC estate, moving it into RISE, but at the same time, looking into Business Data Cloud as one core pillar of your strategy into the autonomous enterprise. Now, you heard me talking about AI in the context of Joule, UI, AI, embedded AI, and we talked about industry AI. I know that ZF, you have a very specific industry-specific challenge, which is called 8D, which also I had to learn about, and talk a bit about the use case. And if you talk about the use case, maybe also explain the audience not coming from that industry what AD is about.
Yeah. So AD is a common process from quality management. It's pretty much working across all industries for problem solving. So whenever there is an issue with one of your products, everything is about obviously finding the root cause, solving the problem, avoiding reoccurrence. And to do so, you basically look up all the past AD reports you have, all in the history, to see if you have similar cases, the so-called similarity search, because these cases will help you to find the solution to the problem. And on the other hand, in the so-called read across read-across part of the process. You look up all your products and try to figure out if there is any reason why the same problem may occur in one of your other products so that you can avoid it. And that's a process today that is highly manual, still manual. It's hard to deliver it in time and with the right quality because it's so much data you have to deal with. So it's an ideal case for an AI scenario. And what we did is, together, my team together with the SAP team, we did a custom AI implementation, a great framework of 4 agents, each of them in their individual roles, doing their job there, looking up all this historic information, this historic data, comparing it with the actual situation, making the the problem description, the root cause analysis, and coming up with proposals out of past cases on how the problem may be solved. So a great approach for us.
Yeah, and look, I mean, in that sense, you were our customer 1 for forward deployment engineering. And here also to everybody in the room, this is how you are going to engage with SAP going forward. You come, articulate your business challenge. You came with a business challenge and you said, SAP, how technology can help. And we were sitting together with engineers to really dissect the challenge into how technology can help, and we build it together. And what I really like about this, Thomas, is that we identified a use case for one problem. So there's an ROI on this one specific problem. But with you, what you just said, that now you can replicate this AI in other use cases in your company, just triples, quadruples the ROI. So that's actually what value generation is about. Now, I talk about ROI, I talk about numbers, and I'm sure you want to hear numbers. Can you share a little bit about that?
Let me try, maybe not the real hard ones, okay? So basically in the case, our savings, the numbers come from the efficiency in the process. It's a much faster process now, so there's a high efficiency on the one end, and on the other hand, by the foreseeing where failures may occur, the avoidance of non-conformance costs, right? Even on the downside case, we expect a middle 2-digit number of million euros in savings. But it's even better, like you said. It's a cross-industry case, so we can transfer the case in other areas. Like we are doing AD reports as well in R&D. We are doing AD reports as well in IT. Currently, this case is just calculated for quality, so there's even more potential for savings within the company.
No, that's really great. I mean, this is the numbers our customers are really looking for in order to go back also to their boards to say, look, an investment in AI is actually investment in the future growth of the company. So with that, and you just heard me talking about also the adoption and the fact about that adoption matters, and we can really only unlock value when we adopt. So can we talk a little bit also how WalkMe has helped you to drive adoption within your organization, and also thinking about all the rollouts you talked about to get really AI embedded in the operations?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, from my perspective, the capability enterprises need in future is not to implement the latest and greatest in technology, but it's the capability to continuously transform. Mm-hmm. And this means transforming your processes, your tools, your architecture, and your people. And this should not be overseen. Transforming your people mean that they need to adapt to a new way of working, right? We are coming from a more transactional-based way of working. We are dealing with the tools to a way of working where we are communicating with the AI. And the way we bring along our intention to the AI will directly influence the quality of the result. And we have chosen WalkMe to help our users exactly on that journey, coming from the transactional way of working rather to that kind of new modern way of working. That will give them confidence. They are guided directly in the tools. It's not an additional effort. And that will make them much more open for the new technology.
I mean, look, that's great. And I think when we think about it, right, you identified the use case, you build it in, now with the tools, you scale it in your organization. What's next?
Yeah, I mean, still we have a way to go. So we will continue this way, obviously. And for sure, we will continue our strong partnership with SAP. We have built a strong foundation with what we did with RISE, BDC, BDP. And we will focus our work in the future much more on the implementation of AI. We have a strong pipeline of use cases, of AI use cases we want to implement. And one thing that I don't want to do is discuss any kind of commercial things whenever, like there is a great use case, can we afford to do it? The answer should always be yes. So what SAP RISE and BTP, BDC is for us on the technological end, SAP Max Success Plan will be on the commercial end. So that with that setup, I feel well prepared for the transformation challenges we have ahead of us.
Look, thanks for that. And it goes back what I said before, being a technology partner, but also be a transformation partner. That's where we want to engage with you. So thanks again for being with us, Thomas.
You're very welcome.
On stage. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So now we heard Thomas talking about this, and there's the 3 factors, right, where we believe we can unlock value with you. 1, helping you to reduce cost, or you heard me talking about as well. It's not only about cost reduction, it's about employee experience, it's about customer experience, and it's about revenue growth. These are the 4 dimensions of value which you can unlock with your investments into AI and on your journey into the autonomous enterprise. And here, SAP is ready to go with you this way, in that direction. With that, Manos, please come back on stage. So look, Manos, we are almost at the end of our journey here of this keynote. Different industries, different parts of the world, but all the same vision, derive value from AI, going from a moment into momentum, right?
Absolutely, Thomas. Let's bring that to an end. And innovation is happening everywhere. We try to connect the dots from every customer to turn technology into real business outcomes. And innovation can happen anywhere. We have a great customer example, Martur Fonpak, that in last year's keynote, they were inspired by what they saw from connecting robots to Joule, and they actually created a use case that they are using the robots in an industrial environment to simulate human movements and make sure that they do the picking and the packing and operations like this.
It's an amazing case, no? And this is really very bring it together. And we really want to congratulate this company, Martur Fonpak International, to recently won the SAP Innovation Award, bringing together really robotics with SAP to create a good use case for their own industries.
A great round of applause for Martur Fonpak. Thank you. And Thomas, I think we've been through a number of topics together with our customers. I would say that there are 5 defining moments when it comes to the journeys that our customers are doing, especially with AI. The first, I would say, is the data foundation and accuracy moment, where 80% or 90% is just not good enough.
Yeah, and look, secondly, the customer moment. When really intelligence comes a competitive advantage to the business, to our customer's business. And third, the employee interaction moment. You will build trust for the adoption with your employees for AI.
Absolutely. And then we have the governance moment, what we discussed about making agents an extended part of your workforce. And last but not least, the strategy moment. It is you that decide how far you want to go. This moment is
This is the moment, now.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being with us this morning.